everyone, it's video from the car day again. I have to say, I feel like winter is definitely taking its toll on me. This happens every year. I think I am a person that definitely depends on the sun and the fresh air and, you know, the warm weather to get out and about and, recharge my battery in a way. And I guess every winter I kind of feel like I get weaker as the winter goes along. And I never know if I'm actually getting worse or, you know how your mind goes through all that stuff. So, I try not to let it go to those places. And usually every winter I find that once the weather gets nice again and I can start getting out and doing more exercise than just the same old treadmill kind of thing, that I actually don't feel like I get weaker, but you can't help but to wonder if this is the year that I might not get as strong again. I don't know. It's hard to say, and it might just all be in my head too. It just feels like stuff gets harder by this time in the winter. Like everything that I do is just harder, and it's weird because my test results from my doctors never show this. They never reflect it. So really, like my 6-minute walk and stuff, like I said, it improved. My echo was good. My pressures were down. So I don't know, but I just keep pushing because I don't really know what else to do. So, and of course, I keep trying to refine my strategies of eating better, and is there something I'm missing? Is there something else I can do? Just the whole, it makes you rethink your whole game plan. And this week too, this video is going to kind of be scattered all over because I have questions that I wanted to answer for a couple people. Someone brought up a really good question, and they asked because their lung function was 30% and mine is 20%, and that was the last time I had it checked. I don't know what it is now. It could be even worse, but theirs was 30%, mine was 20%, and they wanted to know why they couldn't use the Inogen 1 personal oxygen concentrator, the one that the one that I carry, that I've showed you so many times. It goes up to some of them go up to 4, some of them go up to 5, but that's pulse, so it's not actually liters per minute. It's just their setting description. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are not equivalent to 1 liter per minute, 2 liter per minute, as we've discussed before. So it's just pretty much their setting description, giving a value to each setting, not liters per minute. But they wondered why, if their lung function is 30% and mine is 20%, why can I go places using the Inogen 1 and it will keep my oxygen level up and it won't keep theirs up? And something that everybody needs to know, first of all, is obviously the number one thing is we're all different. So everything varies to degrees. So my 20% lung function, my inspiration might be different, which some people can't even trigger the pulse mechanism on these devices. Some people's gas exchange may be different. In other words, how your lungs, what your lungs conversion ability is to exchange the gas into your bloodstream once you inhale it, once you breathe in. So there's so many processes that affect it, your heart and just everything. There's so much, what you eat and all that, there's just so much that affect it. So I don't know that we can say, like, if you're 20% lung function and I'm 20% lung function, that we would necessarily be in exactly the same place, just because we all have different things going on. The other side of it too is like shortness of breath and our oxygenation of our blood is all multifactorial. So there are many factors that go into that. The things that I just described, which some of it we can control and some of it we can't. The parts that we can't necessarily control is like how our lungs exchange the gases, CO2, all that stuff. How well, our blood vessels, like mine, constrict and tend to add a little more pressure and everything. So that's stuff that we can't necessarily directly control. But some of the factors that we can control are like how in shape our body is, how much weight we're carrying, the healthiness of the foods that we're eating, the more water we drink, and just all those are ways that we can change some of the factors. And I couldn't always, with my 6-minute walk, my doctor used to yell at me because my oxygen level would drop so low during my 6-minute walk. Doing it with the Inogen one, and he would say you really shouldn't even be out with that thing. It's not enough to sustain you when you're out and keep you at healthy levels. And I went back and I worked harder on my exercise equipment at home with my continuous oxygen. So in other words, all my exercising I do with continuous oxygen. I don't expect the Inogen 1-3 to sustain me for exercise. I do everything I do with exercise with the tank, which is the purest air, on a higher setting, and I just condition my body. And after conditioning and changing my food habits, I was able to make it so that I could change one of the factors enough that my body was better using the oxygen that it was taking in, and it allowed me to now do my 6-minute walks with the Inogen 1-3 and all staying like 92 to 94 when I walk. So that just shows that, like, I couldn't control what my lungs were actually doing, but I could control how fit my body was. And the more fit your body is, the better it's gonna handle exercise and the less demand of oxygen it'll take. So if you find that you can't use one of these devices at this time, maybe set a plan in motion. And if you have any weight to lose, because that really makes a big difference. I've never had any weight to spare. I wish it was the case where I could drop a few pounds and maybe get off oxygen. For a lot of people, the weight is a huge thing and it makes a huge difference. So if you have any that you can knock off there, that would definitely be a plan to set in motion. And the exercising, because you might be surprised, don't just give up on the Inogen one and say, oh, you wouldn't ever be able to carry it. It's maybe just needs a little more effort on your part of getting in better shape, and kind of see where it goes with that. Because push and the better in shape and fit and healthy and efficient you can make your body, the more options you'll have as far as your air. And for some of you, you may even find that you reduce your need for oxygen altogether. So, yeah, it's something to think about. Another thing that I wanted to mention is I think that me and my hubby are going to do a Q&A video. So we're going to get on together and answer any questions that we've had in the past or that come up from you guys knowing about the video coming. And you can ask questions of me, of him, of both of us, of either one, you know, about anything. So, yeah, so if you have questions that you would like to see answered in the upcoming Q&A video, just post them below this video and or send me an email. I'm not sure if a lot of you realize that you can reach me right through YouTube's email on my page. And that way, if there's something that you wanted to ask in private, so that other people don't see who's asking the question, you can send it that way too. And we won't mention who's asking the questions. We're just going to go through and answer all the questions that we do get, you know, either on the screen or through email. And I thought that this would be kind of fun because, first of all, a lot of people say that my husband looks like a great support system and that he cares so much and he always seems like he's there for me, and they'd love to hear his opinion on all this. So he's a man of few words. He is a great support system and he is always there for me. But I thought that I would actually that it would kind of be fun to bring him on and give you guys a chance to actually question him. And that's so that, like, everybody should have a support system, and maybe some of you have a support system that maybe has questions that they might like to ask somebody else who's trying to support somebody in the same position. Or some of your supporters may have questions that they want to ask of somebody else who's in the same position, you know, another person with the same disease and such. So I just thought it would be a fun and different thing to do. So I will watch for questions for me and him to collect, and when I feel like I have enough of them, I will go ahead and do the video and see if we can have some fun with that. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about that one. I think you guys are gonna like him. He's a great guy, and yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. So well, I think that's gonna be it for now, as I'm almost at my destination. And I will just say thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And I don't know, for those of you who are lucky enough to live in a warm climate, lucky you. And for those of you who are not, let's keep trudging through winter and hope we come out on the other side doing as well as we went into it. All right, you guys, thanks, and have a good one.